What is up, guys? JR Juggernaut 1 here. So now that I'm home, I figured it would be a good idea to try and get a vid up, even though I'm very busy. I'm basically I wanted to do a deck profile quickly of my Lightray Toolbox deck, version 1. As I said, this is not a completed deck, so don't bash it. I'm not planning to take this to a regional or anything just yet. Might take it to locals when it becomes legal, but for now, this is just a dueling network specific deck. Technically, I could play the deck but proxy out the Gear Freeds, but I don't know. I'm thinking about it. But yeah, basically this is the deck I mentioned in a previous video. Lightray Toolbox is a concept I thought of after seeing the Lightray deck played by Busfair, who I will leave a link to in the description below. Really cool guy. I really love his channel. Actually, he's slowly but surely becoming a pretty big Yugi tuber to watch out for. But he had his own take on it, and I decided, rather than kind of making this just Lightsworn but with different monsters, I figured I would change it up a bit. And some people are kind of stupid and ignorant about this. I was playing against a guy on DN last night, and he told me stop playing Saxsworns, and I had to go through and explain to him why this isn't Saxsworn. Like, I have the deck name here as Lightray Sworn, but that was just the name I thought of at the time. I decided to change it to Lightray Toolbox. So, actually, now that I think about it, I should be renaming the deck before I say that, but oh well. Yeah, this is basically the idea behind this deck is it's a toolbox deck. You are able to deal with many different situations through various cards. But you're not dealing with it, but it's more like the deck is designed to be able to, depending on the situation, use the right monsters to deal with the right situation. It's not like decks like Plants or Six Sams where they just, when they're able to deal with many different situations due to their sheer overpoweredness. Each card is kind of specifically designed to deal with this different type of scenario, or each card is played to deal with a different scenario, and it really benefits the deck as a result. The side and extra deck I will briefly talk about because they're not completed yet, but the main deck is version 1 right now. It may change, but we'll see what happens. But let's get through this. So for my monsters, I have 2 Lightray Gearfried, 2 Thunder King Ryo, 2 Effect Veiler, 1 Honest, 1 Gors, 2 Lila, 2 Eren, 2 Jane, 2 Raikou, 1 Giroth, 1 Wind-Up Knight, just so people know what this is, double Card Trooper, and triple Lightray Gearfried. For spells, we have Rota, Charge of Light Brigade, Triple Pod Duality, Monster Reborn, Dark Hole, Heavy Storm, double Solar Recharge, Warrior Returning Alive, and double Mystical Space Typhoon. For traps, just 4, double Beckoning Light, and double Torrential Tribute. Okay, so first let me just explain briefly what this guy is, Lightray Gearfried. If you've watched my previous video, you guys probably know that he is the Lightray monster that you special summon by having 5 or more light monsters with different names in your graveyard, and he cannot be special summoned by other ways. And then once per turn, during each player's turn, when a spell or trap is activated, if you control only warriors, you can banish a warrior monster from your grave to negate the spell or trap. Basically, this guy is Xian on steroids. He's a much easier version of Xian to actually bring out, and you can make multiple copies of him for true lockdown. It's basically what Six Sams could do, but in a more balanced way, because you can't spam. You can spam him sort of, but you have different ways of doing that. Oh, mind you. Gearfried is stupid though. I can't tell you. Oh, god dang it. Sorry about that, guys. I hate that this just happened, but oh well. Should restart the vid, but you know what? I'm already kind of in the middle of this, so yeah. I just kind of want to get through this. Because I'm kind of in a rush. But yeah, talking about this, about the deck. So Gearfried, he's just a monster. He's also 2800 beat stick, which really does help in a lot of situations, having that slightly elevated attack over Xian. But essentially the idea behind the deck is, with getting him out, is you mill a lot through your Lightsworns and Card Troopers. Milling isn't really the sole purpose of the deck, though. This deck isn't about milling to get out your boss monsters. That's where a lot of your recursion cards come in. mainly in the form of Beckoning Light. But I will, you kind of are able to mill a lot, get out Gearfried, or you're able to fit out your deck to get to the cards that you need. So, Duality or whatever, it's sort of like Lightsworn's where you set up, but not so much. You don't, because of the monsters themselves, you don't actually need to mill in order to win. This deck is very capable of winning without Gearfried, and I've won a lot of games by either just dropping one or none. It's very easy. It's very easy to make it happen. Now, one thing people are going to kind of ask is, why free the Brave Wanderer if he banishes from my grave? First off, this guy is actually really good. He has a very good effect that's underutilized in my humble opinion. Now, the effect is very powerful. Banish 2 light monsters from your graveyard, target a face-up monster on the field with higher attack than him, and destroy it. That can be really good because he gives you an out to this deck's biggest problem. Monsters that are bigger than Gearfried. Big monsters that are bigger than Gearfried give this deck a hard time. Really. It's not something I'm happy about, to say the least. So, with that, I would just say he's good. But also, you'll notice you're running multiple copies of your lights. You can easily ditch 2 monsters in your lights where you already have a second copy of them, or, and it makes it easy. And again, as I said, if the deck was more reliant on Gearfried, he'd probably be a bad choice, or I'd just run one of him. But in this case, he works fine, actually. I would definitely keep him at 2. Thunder King just controls the board, straightforward. Veiler, Gearfried, the biggest problem I think with Gearfried is obviously effect monsters. So if you have Gearfried and Veiler backed up, you're sitting pretty well. I tried Max C, but as a lot of people are realizing, Max C just isn't as good as it used to be, so I'm thinking about just siding it. Honest and Gores are self-explanatory. Gores, though, is probably the only dark monster I would run in this deck before anybody asks. This is supposed to be a light-based deck, and yeah, Gores, it's Gores. There's nothing else to say. I get him out a lot. He puts in a lot of work. He's pretty ridiculous. Double Lila for the back row removal. Yes, she's not a warrior, but just like Thunder King and Veiler, they do a lot for the deck. Just in their abilities. Erin is probably one of the better monsters of the deck. She just prevents your opponent from setting, and that it provides another way of just locking them down, which is really helpful. I'm just a big fan of her in this deck, but I don't like running 3 of any of the lights in this deck just because I want to make getting Gearfried out as easy as possible, and because she only has 16 attack, that can be a problem at times. Jane, on the other hand, very powerful. You want to have plenty of beat sticks like him, and he helps you mill. He helps fuel the milling part of the deck, so that's very nice. Raikou. Now, a lot of people are going to kind of look at this deck and be like, also, you noob, you're not running Lumina. Lumina's not a card I would run in this deck, for sure. There's nothing I ever want to discard. There's nothing huge I ever gain out of actually reviving a Light Swarm with its effect. There's just not really much I could do, so I don't see much of a reason to play even one of her. With Raikou, Raikou is just a great turn 1 play. He gives you an option if you have to go into the defensive. There's a lot I just really like about him, and that's why I play him. Even with, if you play against Dino Rabbit, you're probably going to keep him in, just because he's a great out to Lagia. But that is still going to be a difficult matchup for you. Gyarath, the next 2, Gyarath and Wind-Up Knight, I'm very, mixed about. I just seen the time, sorry guys. I'm very mixed about. Gyarath, I haven't used the draw power effect, but he's still good for the deck. But, you could find something better since I don't really utilize the draw power effect of it. Wind-Up Knight, it's interesting. I like Wind-Up Knight because, his negate effect can be good, even if you can only use it on himself, because it's good, it's powerful. Stalling that one attack can make a difference for next turn. But at the same time, he's only 1800 attack, and there's arguably cards that do more for the deck aside from Wind-Up Knight. So yeah, Trooper, self-explanatory. He's not light, but he mills the deck and gets you draw power. That's amazing. You have to play 2 of him. And then Gearfried is also self-explanatory. Spells, straightforward as well. Rhoda, Charge, Triple Duality. You do special summon a fair amount, but only in the form of Gearfried and Monster Reborn. Otherwise, there's really nothing you do in terms of special, or that and Exceed summoning. But you don't ever need to use Exceed, so you don't ever have to use Exceed, so you're usually going to be fine with that. Reborn, Dark Hole, Heavy Storm. I don't play Book because I just don't like it in this deck. It's good, it's good just because you have Aaron, but I guess that could be a 41st card, but I don't see it as a necessity. Then again, you could book your Raikou. Maybe I'll try it. Returning Alive, Recharge. Why am I so out of order today? Oh, sorry about this, guys. Recharge is just great draw power and really gets the deck going. It's very good turn 1, but it can also be very crucial late game, as from what I found. Plus, you have plenty of targets that I think it's just very easy to make use of. 9 for 2, and you've got 9 targets. Seems reasonable to me. Returning Alive, very versatile. It's just one of the recursion cards. You could run 2, or maybe run a 3rd Beckoning, but 1's fine. It's just a 1-for-1. And being able to get Gearfried back to hand is obviously pretty amazing. 2 MST, don't have to play it because, as you see, there is some back row removal, but the problem is this is the easiest way to deal with your opponent's nasty back row that locks you down, so best to have as much of it as you can, especially because then you won't have to side it in if you're playing Dino Rabbit, because they will side in Macrocosmos. You will have to side out your Veilers. It's just not going to be fun for you. And then double Beckoning and double Torrential for traps. Beckoning, really good card, honestly. It's a card not really seeing any plain Lightsworn, but I don't understand why, because this card's absolutely amazing in this deck. Just being able to, dump your hand, get back your Gearfried, special summon them, even if your opponent is back row, there's nothing they can really do. Like, that's awesome. That is really, really awesome. So I really like that aspect of it. And then Torrential just as just any back row. I didn't see any other ones to really play, and I wanted to kind of have play the one I thought would get the most use, even if you are going to minus off of it at times. I don't know. Just seemed like the better option. And I didn't want Beckonings to be my only traps, because then I figured they'd be MST too often, especially with MST at 3. So yeah. That's the deck right now. Side deck is still in the process. I would definitely keep the Cyber Dragons, the Daedalus, just as a one-of, in case I play certain decks. The 3rd MST and all these traps, because they're just the best traps I can side in this deck. Goes and match lock for a lot of, just for everything except Inzectors, I suppose. Decree for back row heavy decks. I guess the only problem is it's just sort of a debate on are there matchups where you would want to side both, or is where Decree is just better, like if you're worried about traps but you also want to be able to lock them down. Like, that's the only difficulty. Inzectors with Shadowmere, it's kind of the same way against Inzectors, but these cards kind of do help you deal with the big 3. And then extra deck's also pretty standard. I do want to make room for a few more cards though. Probably will try to make room for a few more rank 4s, because those are the cards you make the most. But I also like having the, these cards in here just in case I have Veiler. Though I really don't sink much at all. I'm probably just going to cut it down to rank the level 5 and the level 9, because those are the ones you're going to make the most often. You can make level 8s, but that's only going to involve Course. Okay, so that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed the deck profile. Sorry I'm kind of in a rush to do this, but not much choice in the matter. I will possibly have another video up this week, but I'm busy working on a research paper, so I can't guarantee it. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and a comment, and don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you guys next time, but I will at least make a video when I get back explaining what kind of how things are going to run down over the next month or so. So yeah, see you.